Get out the way. Who got a watch? Who got the time? I'm raising the clock. Even in my feelings, grind don't stop. Got big dreams, want big rocks. I got plans, you got talk. Heard it's real cheap, but it's really gon' cost. I'm tryna get these ends, building empires with my friends. I'm about handling my business. No time for stress over bullshit. You think success is an option? I'm tryna get this shit poppin' like woo. Big moves, my rules. Y'all heavy on the tweeting. I'll disappear a whole season like woo. Who said they looking for me?
Hey DeMarie TV family, so today we're going to be reviewing Love Marriage Huntsville Season 6 Episode 26, Whitlow's Stay or Whitlow's Go. So the first scene picks up with Stormy and Kiki. They're in Stormy's guest house and they're waiting on Tiffany to come in. Stormy's arranged for Kiki and Tiffany to talk because Stormy feels like their situation has escalated. I personally believe this is just a made-up scene. This is something Stormy's doing so that they can have something to do on the show. I believe that this is starting to get not only old to us, but apparently old to people on the show. Some of them are starting to realize they don't really have a lot to talk about and they can't keep making up stories. They're going to have to either tell what's really going on or bow out. And so we'll see how that goes as the show progresses. But this is clearly a scene that has been made up because I'm going to tell you something, honey. One thing you do not take to a confrontational conversation is a newborn baby. Tiffany walks in with Ace, cute as a button, looking as beautiful and handsome as he can be. But who is arguing with somebody where Ace is 100% disarming? You can't focus on being mad with this little gorgeous baby looking at you. So Tiffany came in on some bullshit, number one. So first and foremost, when Kiki says there's a baby, what she means is she know what time it is. Tiffany ain't about to come with no mess. She's not. Kiki knew at the moment she saw her with the baby what it was. So let's get into it. So Stormy kind of recaps why they're there, talking about Tiffany and her Carlos King interview. And Tiffany basically on Carlos King said, why are you here regarding Kiki? What do you do? Why you want to argue with the wall? Basically saying Kiki is not a good fit for this situation. They're better than them. Make no mistake about it, that's 100% what she was saying. Now, today she's saying that's not what she's saying, but that is what she was saying. Period. She did not see a reason or a need for Kiki to be around them because she does not have friends and people in her life like Kiki. Now, what that like Kiki means, I'm not sure considering her parents were drug addicts, but you know, I don't know. So Kiki basically explained to Tiffany that Tiffany was judging her off of her relationship with Tisha. She didn't know the relationship with Tisha and that was wrong. And Tiffany agreed, essentially. Stormy saying that she loves to bring people together and acting like a peacemaker does not sit well with me until I get an apology to Miss Black Titanic. You cannot be over here waving sage talking about you somebody's peacemaker and you like seeing peace between people, but when an elderly woman walks on a property to purchase products from you, you cussing her out talking about you gonna kick her ass. It does not make sense to me. So I'm happy that Kiki and Tiffany was able to squash it, but Stormy being a peacemaker, I'm never going to buy that, period. Not going to happen. So the next scene is with Chris Fletcher and Martell. Fletch is coming over to confront Martell about him being disrespectful to Nell before the dinner at the Fletcher's house. So it's something about the men on Love Marriage Huntsville where they go to confront somebody about being disrespectful to their wife and it never really hits for me. It doesn't hit for me. If I am a woman, I want to be defended in a particular way. And I don't get that from the men here. You know what I mean? I don't get that when people approach Martell. You know, I don't get the type of defense that I would want my man to show up with if someone who has disrespected me enough that I'm going to come to my man about it. Because let's be 100% clear. I can handle myself. But if I feel it is important enough to say he got out of line, I want my man to check him, but I don't want the check to look like this. Okay? So Chris comes to the house and he says Chateau Holt or something, Holt Manor or something like that. You know how they like to name the homes, you know, kind of in like Sheree did her spot. So Martell shows up at the front door with blackout sunglasses and these socks that has holes with his toes sticking out of them. I don't know what that is, but I hate them socks. It might be some kind of socks for athletes or something like that, but I did not like it. So he comes in, he's talking about getting the house ready and ordering chairs and all this other stuff. And then Fletcher starts to address him about him being disrespectful towards Nell. And he says that women have to stop coming for men. In Martell's misogynist world, he feels like women are beneath men. They have a place. And he is not uncommon in the region in which he lives. The South, there are a lot of men who have these attitudes, but as you can clearly see, Martell is a man who is undeserving of any of that respect. He disrespected himself on national television, okay, by breaking his marital vows with the woman he identified with as a peasant and 15%, and he is still with that peasant 15% woman moving in circles now that he can't even take her into the room to. So listen, he disrespected himself, his marriage, his wife, his children, his family. So I don't know why he feels like everyone else owes him a certain level of respect. And now all of a sudden, if you want to discuss his infidelity and his marriage to Melody, you must now pair that with an affair he claims Melody had, but no one knows who this person is, and we're on season 6. And we know that he has committed revenge P against Melody by taking a marital video that they created together, videotaping them, and then telling everybody that the person Melody was having the sexual act with in the video was someone other than himself. So in the event that he is truly claiming Melody had a sexual relationship with someone else, who is it? Where is this person that she has supposedly had this affair with? Because we didn't hear nothing about this affair until recently when he decided that he wanted to lie. And that's exactly what he's still doing. He does not want to face the fact that he fucked up. And he don't want to address it, and he's tired of everybody telling him he's fucked up. And so a way for him to deflect is to say, but Melody did it too. Look over there, not just over here, like a 3-year-old. And so he is claiming that Nell disrespected him by bringing up something that has to do with his cheating. And that's not how that conversation went. I wanted Fletcher to be harsher with him. I wanted Fletcher to be more aggressive with him and more direct with him. I did not want Fletcher to try to explain Nell and why Martell may have misconstrued her behavior. I didn't like that. I don't feel Nell needed an excuse in that moment. She is who she is. Some people don't like women who are extroverts, speak a little loud and can go off on folks. They want people to behave in a certain kind of way. I get it. Doesn't work for me, because I'm going to say what the hell I want to say when I want to say it. And if I'm going to be loud about it, I'm going to be loud. And it ain't nothing anybody can say that's going to stop me from doing that. Nothing. It's nothing you can't say or do to stop me. So I don't think trying to pit somebody in a box to make them behave a way that you feel more comfortable with is even something we should be doing today. You don't like Nell, don't rock with her, don't be at her house. Give the wine to Chris. But you do not show up to someone's house yelling in the front yard, starting fights and stuff, and then driving off in a disrespectful manner, and then telling her husband, well, I felt like she disrespected me. And if women get disrespectful, I'm going to be disrespectful with them back. No, you're not. Because number one, we don't even have an agreement on what disrespectful is. You should be at someone's home behaving in a particular manner, period. And your problem with Nell and Chris was that they were attending Mel's name change ceremony, and in your stupid little mind, you believe somehow that was about you. It was never about you. Nobody gives a fuck about you, Martell Holt. Nobody cares. Her name change ceremony was not about you. It was about her. And for you to feel like, oh, it's really final between you and Mel now because she changed her name. It was final when she left your ass. You just refused to accept the real and the truth of the matter. And because you refuse to accept the truth, you're sitting here lagging and you're behind. Y'all should be way further progressed by now, and you can't because you're stuck. And you not understanding why she would want to change her name and what's so special about Rogers, and why would she want to be a Rogers versus a Holt? Why would she want to remain a Holt? Everything we've learned about the Holt name is not good. It's a bunch of criminals. And the only thing good about Holt that we recognize and associate with you is everything Melody did for you. Everything Melody brought to your life. And now that she's removed herself from your life and has gone back to her original name, Rogers is her foundation. And she got everything she needs from the Rogers name. She was born that way. She was born ready, ripe, ready to go. She didn't need you to make her into anything, and that is apparent because the minute she's detached from you, your shit has gone downhill and she's ascended. She's ascended constantly. Her businesses are thriving. She's doing well in multiple areas of business. She is one of the most beloved reality show TV personalities today. She gives back to her community. She's intelligent. She has an amazing network. So what are you talking about? She's taking care of your 4 children. She is their foundation and the thing that is steady in their lives because you're all over the place and inconsistent. So instead of asking what's so good about Rogers, ask yourself what's so good about Holt. What do you bring add to the Holt name? Your mom, your uncles, and your aunts, including the ones who were with you when y'all was allegedly trying to rob ATMs. Your dad. Explain to me the beauty of the Holt name. It doesn't make sense to anyone why you still find yourself in a conundrum, incapable of moving forward with your life and understanding the fact that you are a 3-year plus divorced man. You and Melody and y'all last names and her ceremony and friends choosing, that should not be a thing at this point. It's over. It's been over for such a long time. You lost. Bad move. You made a wrong decision and you chose wrong. And the world saw it. It's gotta suck, but it is what it is. So move on. The next scene is Tisha and Kimmy. It's a made-up scene. Kimmy's still talking about her sex life, and her and Tisha are going to get a steam. So, you know, I don't know about the yoni steams and all that stuff. Ain't my cup of tea, but, you know, whatever. Kimmy is constantly using her sex life with Maurice as a storyline, and Tisha has decided that she wants to improve her storyline or come up with another hoax, and so she is pretending in this scene that she may think that she thinks she's pregnant. It's all made up, y'all. This girl does not think she's pregnant. You know, Kimmy ain't this concerned about her sex life. These are just things that they are doing to fill time to keep themselves on the show. They don't have anything going on. And so these are made up scenes. You can tell, you can feel it. It is 100% obvious at this point, and the producers on this show have to do something to fix this problem. They need to get rid of the Scotts. Their time is up. We've seen enough. We've heard enough. It's over. And just get them off the show. Period. I don't have anything else to say about this scene because it's fake. And I'm not going to spend my time addressing fake shit. So moving forward, if the Scotts have a scene and I feel like it's made up, I'll say that, I'll state it, and I'll state why I feel like it's made up. But I'm not going to keep giving them air. I feel like we need to just keep saying that we want them off. We need to keep saying that we don't like the scenes, because if we give enough negative feedback, maybe they'll do what we want them to do, and that's get them the hell off the show. It is wasted airtime. Nobody wants to see it. Nobody cares. So, favorite scene of the episode, or favorite scene of this episode is Chris Fletcher and Chris Fletcher Jr. Like, y'all, I know a lot of focus was placed on Alexis because of her outburst at the family dinner, but trust me, if you have 5 kids got 5 issues, and they display them in 5 different ways. They're individuals. Children are individuals. You cannot paint them with a wide brush. You have to individually deal with each child. And it was very clear to me. Alexis was sitting next to Chris Jr. Chris Jr. talking about what his issue is. She was yelling at him that they did not take his dogs, they saved his dogs. So these dynamics, trust me, we have to wait till we get in and dig through the weeds to see what they are. But each one of those children, when you have a break in the family where the 2 parents have to live separately for 2 years, all of them got issues, even the niece. If she was in their household and they were primarily caring for her, she's gonna have issues. She will. And so Alexis and her issues do not trump everyone else's. All kids are equal in the parents' eyes. All kids are the same in the parents' eyes. In the kids' eye, there's levels to this, and they may have been treated fairly, they may have been treated they may have been forgotten, they may have had the best life, and the other ones are tripping. They may didn't get it's always something, but each one of these children have a different story. And so that's the beauty of diving into the Fletchers. If they're letting us see this dynamic and how this breaks out, honey, this is gold. So let's talk about how Chris Jr.'s been feeling. So Chris Jr. thought the dinner was a lot for him. People arguing, they storming out. That was intense for him. And because it was so intense, he needed to take a step back from the family to just kind of gather himself. You know, Lexi storming out is Lexi's moment in her mind to shine, but how did that affect everybody else? It's all tied together. It's all tied together. And now we get to see how her movements and how she chose to move in that moment affected one of her siblings. So Chris asked Chris Jr., what did you think about the dinner besides Alexis? He said it was a lot of bullshit. Look at Chris's face. He said, what do you mean? He squints his eyes. He says, what do you mean? This is the same thing he did with Martell. What do you mean? Chris, when he talks to somebody, really seeks to understand where they're coming from. He is seeking, like, watch his face and then rewind it and go back and look at this. He makes the same facial expression when he's talking to Martell, and Martell says, your wife was disrespectful. He says, how so? What do you mean? Look at the face. Look what he does with his eyes and his face. So 2 scenes ago, I was like, I don't think he handled the situation the way that I would like my man to handle it. But in watching this scene, this is just Chris. This is just him. He's never gonna be that. He's never gonna be confrontational. He's seeking to understand where somebody's coming from. And he's doing that with Martell. He's doing that with his son. Maybe if he does this with somebody that he doesn't love, it would be a different situation. But really, this man is trying to understand who he's talking to, because he is really trying to resolve the situation. He's trying to fix it. I think he's a fixer. I think Chris is a fixer. He's trying to hear what people have to say and figure out how to fix it. And he's a non-confrontational man doing that. And this is, to be perfectly honest, is I'm not used to it. I don't know it a lot, but I'm identifying it, and I think it's a great skill set. No wonder he's an amazing realtor. Realtors are fixers. They find out what the people don't like about their existing home, and they find them ones that solve all those problems. I love this scene. I love that he's just taking time with his son to figure out what's wrong, and he's listening and he's taking it in. He's not defending his position. He's not telling him he's wrong. He's just listening. And we have 2 ears and 1 mouth, because it's more beneficial to us to listen than it is to speak. And he is doing an amazing job of that. And I just thought, wow, this was a really good moment. It was good. Really good. Now, when Chris Jr. is saying he feels like he should have his dogs, and he's not receptive to, they had to bail him out. They had to take care of the dogs. They had to, first and foremost, go get the dogs. I don't like that. If I'm Neil, I'm not giving the dogs back. Pay me my money. You're not getting your dogs back because the baby kids is the worst. These youngest kids is the worst. They are so super entitled. And they're so super cute. And so you're looking at them and the eyes and the stuff. You gotta hold the line with these babies and say, no. You want your dogs? Give me my money. You want your phone? Clean your room? Bring me an A-grade car. Listen, I'm going through some shit. You see what I'm saying? I understand this family. I'm here. I'm right here. I'm right here. These youngest kids is off the chain. They think the world revolves around them and you just supposed to lay out a red carpet and they just walk the red carpet their whole life. It's weird. And where did they get this idea from? It's so exhausting. But these young kids, see what I'm saying? Alexis is the oldest. Chris Jr. is the youngest. And then you got 2 other kids and a niece in the middle. What they feeling like? What they going through? Parenting is hard. Marriage is hard. I want to see this. I want to know from Tisha and Marcel, what is MJ going through? He old enough to see all this. He old enough to have a relationship with Monster. He old enough to watch his grandma act a fool. What MJ feel about all this? Macy and Mila, how they feeling? I want to know how Macy and Mila feel about their parents arguing with Miss Melody and Mr. Martell, and that causing a disconnect between the Eminem kids. I want to understand how they feel. Everybody's walking up, sitting on yoni pots and talking about how they can't get their husbands off. Girl, it's so much rich information and stories into this. I want to know how Kimmy's son feels about her marriage to Maurice. Doesn't mean I want you to split from Maurice. Doesn't mean he wants you to split from Maurice. But just talk about what it really felt like. That's what we want from the Scotts, but they won't give it. That's what we want from everybody. Martell has blocked our favorite kids from being seen on the internet. I'm gonna tell you what I want from Martell. Why the fuck is you still running around with this dust bucket piece of side bitch? Why? Even if it ain't Melody, you can do 100 times better than Ariane. Why are you still engaging with this fucking piece of shit chick? She's beneath you. Sorry, but it's true. She's beneath him. There are stories that all of these people can speak to. They're not speaking to what we want to know. And I'm just saying, the Fletchers are giving us what we want to know. Like them, love them, hate them, whatever. This is interesting to me because it's real talk. It's truth seeking. And I want that. I don't want bullshit storylines about noni plots blowing herbal tea up your ass. This, what the Fletchers are talking about, is about a dad sitting his baby son down, saying to him, you have to understand where your mother's coming from, because he is hearing from his wife, I miss my baby. He used to call me. He ain't calling me no more. How he not talking to me over dogs? In her mind, a dog, a 4-legged dog, is overriding her son's love for her. He doesn't call her every day like he used to. That's hurtful. Somebody who gave you life. In his mind, he has a point. This is a father trying to bridge a gap. Now you show me. You show me on national television how many times we get to see that. We need this show. I love this show. I love what it's doing, and I need it to head more in this direction. And the people who are unwilling to do that, I need them off, and I need you to bring on more people who are willing to show people how to do this. There are men who don't know how to do this. There are men who don't do this because they're doing too much of what Martell was doing and what Chris was doing back in the day. People was like, well, why is Alexis saying he didn't help her until she was 28, or he wasn't in her life until he was 28? Because when men are in the streets and they doing dirt, they not thinking about their kids and their family. He can't even pick up on what's going on and catch this dynamic if he over here trying to hump on a side chick. The only reason Chris can do what he's doing in this moment is he's 1,000% engaged in his family. And that is what men need to do. You don't have time to be out here screwing these hoes, 15%ers, side pieces, because it distracts from this, which is what we need our men to do. Women need support. Nell does not understand why her baby ain't calling her. He's trying to find out why her baby ain't calling her, and he's trying to get her baby to pick up the phone. It's that simple. And he's also finding out in this moment that her baby needs the whole family, because this boy is depressed. He's depressed. And his daddy's going to pull him out of depression. You can't tell me, you cannot tell me these Fletchers did not come at the right time. This is it. This is what Martell was put on here to do, but he fucked up the bag. He fucked it up. He screwed up. He over here planning, philandering, and screwing his life up. And Chris is coming in. Now, I'm going to tell you something. Everyone's redeemable. Chris was once Martell, and Martell can redeem himself if he decides to ever be 100% sorry for his behavior and really work to fix it. But we ain't never seen that from him, ever in a million years. But this man right here, he's 10 toes down about his family at this moment, and I love it. So Alexis was saying that she wasn't invited to the family stuff and she feels left out. Now we have Chris Jr. saying, or Chris Sr. saying, you never come to the family stuff. You always leave yourself out. And Chris Jr. saying, it feels like to me, if I stay away, I don't have to worry about people's judgment and their opinions, right? Polar opposite, oldest, youngest. Both of them are staying away for different reasons, but they're away, okay? They're both staying away. They're both hurt. They're both feeling a particular way, and they're staying away. Why is that? Chris Jr. should have the best of everything, right? He should have all the wealth, all the riches, which is what Alexis wants. However, he's unhappy like she's unhappy. But try to tell her that money's not the solution to this problem. I don't think she's going to listen. Do you think she's going to listen? I don't. Because in Alexis's mind, whoever they give the money to, whoever gets the most time is valued. And she probably think Chris get all the time. She probably think Chris, listen, they bend over backwards to Chris. Chris feel like don't nobody love him, so he just stays away because he don't want to be judged because he feels like a fuck up. Polar opposites, oldest, youngest, and here we are. Interesting. Every child has their own thing. The parents have to see the real picture, but tailor how they handle each kid. Parenting is not easy. It's a very difficult thing to do. And try doing that when your husband is out fucking off in the streets. Melody has 4. When Martell did what he did, her baby wasn't even a full 1 year old, and there was another child coming. That's not okay. He had work to do over here, and he's over there. It's not okay. It's not okay at all. And Chris is saying to him, do you not see that we all see there's something we need to help Chris with? Chris Jr. says, I think we all got issues. And Chris Sr. says, we do. And that's the truth, y'all. If you got a 12-person family, you got 12 problems. If you got a 3-person family, you got 3 problems. Everybody has problems. The best thing we can do, the very best thing we can do as family members is to love on each other and try to resolve those problems. If it's too much for you, cut it off and it'll come back when it's time. Have the dinners. If people argue, let them argue. You know, like let them argue, but if the person leave the house and they outside smoking a cigarette, don't be like, leave my property. Like, let them come back in the house. Let them go smoke and let them come back in the house. Family is all we have, and it's no particular pretty picture. Black people are beautiful. We can, honey, you say cheese, we own. The picture gonna be hot, but it's a lot behind that picture. If you take the one picture and it's 30 people in it and you say, what happened on this day? And you flash that picture, they all gonna tell you a different story. I swear. Everyone will have a different story. We gotta get it together. We gotta learn how to do this, and this is talk. Just talk through it. Talk through it. find a pathway to each other. And when you find a pathway, bring somebody else in and hook them in. We gotta figure out how to help each other. It's too many people depressed, suicidal, on drugs, alcoholics, just it's cheating on their family, destroying their families. It's too much of that. We gotta figure out how to help each other. And I think this conversation between a father and a son is enormous. It's huge. It's huge. I have nothing but boys, and I want my husband to sit down and do this away from me because I bring in a whole nother energy. I want them to have their own time, and then I'll do what I do on my time, you know. The Christian makes a statement that he goes to the, and if I don't know what I heard, the yah every weekend at 2 o'clock in the morning. If you know what that is, please let me know. I'm not trying to be disrespectful, but I don't know what I heard, if I heard it right or wrong. I don't know the location. But I see in Chris Sr.'s face that he's starting to identify at 2 in the morning every weekend. This is ongoing. He's starting to process his child is depressed. And it breaks him down. He starts to cry. And Chris Jr. is looking at his dad cry. And I think he's probably a little shocked by it, to be perfectly honest. But his dad is like, if my son can't sleep, if he's going somewhere at 2 o'clock in the morning every weekend, he's alone. He feels lonely. He told y'all he detaches himself from the family because he doesn't want to be judged. This is a whole hell of a lot going on. And this is way more complex than, oh, I'm over here messing with coleslaw. This right here is what we need to get to when you have a suicidal rate at the rate that it is in the U.S., especially amongst Black people. Y'all, we got to figure out how to have conversation amongst a dad and a father talking about what's going on with their son. And this man is crying because he recognizes one or two things. He's been there before, or he recognizes that he missed something and he has to pull his son out of that. It's great television. It's brilliant. So the next scene is Tiffany and Lou, and I know a lot of people love Lou, and they do not like for people to say anything or question Lou. I understand that, but please do not be in my comments upset because my opinion is different than yours. I feel like Tiffany and Lou are having problems in their relationship, period. I think Lou is not happy with their current situation because it is what he stated he did not want. Tiffany has also said that Lou is away a lot. Now, I understand that he is working, but jobs only take you away for so long. When men do not want to be in the household, they find extra shit to do at work. Okay? When Lou walks into the room, he sits down. Tiffany saying she needs help folding the clothes because Ace ain't helping her fold. She's trying to pull him into Ace. She has to say, hey, Ace, do you want to go to Daddy? That's when Lou reaches for Ace and brings Ace in. And shortly after, he gives Ace right back to Tiffany. And that is what is happening in this relationship. That's the dynamic. When a man is crazy about his baby, he walks into a room, he grabs his baby, hugs him and kisses him, playing with him, all that. He does not have to be prompted to get his baby. And he does not give the baby back quickly because he does not want to do the whole baby thing. I mean, y'all, just pay attention. This child is such a beautiful baby. Ace is gorgeous. But it is an additional stress on this marriage. It's a very huge stress. And that is contributing to Tiffany's postpartum depression. It is not just that she has postpartum. She has probably postpartum. She probably has concerns about work. She probably has concerns about her marriage. And she's taken on a lot because Lou ain't home. But don't forget, it was just last season, these roles were reversed. Lou was taking on a lot because she wasn't at home. And what she told him was, you knew what this is going to be when you knew what we signed up for. So if it's good for the goose, it's good for the gander. I know everybody loves Lou. I love Lou. Lou and Tiffany are a good couple to me. But the fact of the matter is, both of them have admitted to being cheaters previously. They both did it. Lou was a cheater. And when you have additional stresses in relationships, like Tiffany starting a new company, that created a divide between them. Then she comes up with the bright idea to have a baby in a situation where there was already a divide. It's created a larger divide. So I think that they are leaving the show not only because she has postpartum, which I 100% believe postpartum is a real thing. I do not think it is anything wrong with taking additional time for yourself to come into alignment and get it back together. Having a baby is a lot. Having a baby under these conditions is probably too much. I applaud her for stepping back and getting it together. What I do believe, however, is that Lou and Tiffany are also taking time away from the show to figure out what's going on with Lou and Tiffany. Because their marriage is probably going through a few more hurdles that they don't want to go through on television. So they're pulling back, stepping away from the show because there are certain things they want to deal with privately. This is an honorable, respectable thing to do. I feel like this is what the Scotts should have done a long time ago. Go out, get yourself together. When you come up with some new storylines and things are good, pop on back in. But if you don't want to show the ugly side or the underside of what you're going through, then leave the show and give someone else space to share what they choose to share. So that is my opinion. I think they'll be back. I don't think this is forever. But I do think they're taking time not only for Tiffany to get herself together, but for them to see what's going to happen with their marriage and with Ace. Because I think there's a lot more disconnect involved with the two of them right now than they're letting on. So with that said, I do think this was a really good episode. I think the scene with Chris and his son, Chris Jr., was amazing. I loved it. I want to see more of that all the time. I think the episode or the scene with Lou and Tiffany was great. I think it was good. Of course, the made up scene with Tisha and Kimmy, I could do without. The made up scene with Kiki and Tiffany. I'm glad that they resolved their issue, but I do think Stormy orchestrated the scene just to have something for her to be involved in and do, because it really didn't concern her. But I am glad Tiffany and Kiki resolved their issue before Tiffany left the show. So overall, I give the episode 8. The Chris and Chris Jr. scene carried this for me. It was wonderful. And then to have the Whitlows ended on their end, it was a really good episode. I think, we'll start to see 10 out of 10s once we get the Scotts off. And Stormy. Once Stormy and them Scotts are off, you'll have some 10 out of 10s if you put on good people. But for right now, it's a solid 8 for me. Tell me what you guys think. Did you like it? What did you like about the show? Are you feeling a little bit better about the direction that the show is taking? What do you think about that? Because I'm feeling like we're starting to be heard. I'm seeing that our voices are being heard. Do you feel the same way? Please like the video, subscribe to the channel, and hit that notification bell so that you're notified every time I drop a new episode. And you guys have a good evening.
Get out the way. Who got a watch? Who got the time? I'm raising the clock. Even if my feelings grind don't stop. Got big dreams.